just moved in till 14G, so cozy, calm, and peaceful.
In the background is the girl from 14G. That is the name of the song that Andrea, Lynn, Cianflone is singing. A discovery of Glenn Leverance this past weekend in the Twin Cities, and a very accomplished opera singer and artist in our Faith and Music segment this morning on Morning Air on Relevant Radio. Andrea, good morning. Welcome to Morning Air.
Good morning.
Glenn, how did you discover Andrea?
Well, it was at the open house for Father Paul Haverstock, after his ordination on Saturday in the Twin Cities. And we were all gathered at the same place, and someone was kind of spontaneously singing Ave Maria and playing it on the piano all at the same time. And lo and behold, it was someone my wife had met years ago, too, falling down some stairs. And Andrea was there to catch her at the bottom. No, something like that. But anyway, we ended up having a great conversation, talking music in New York, and here we are.
Wow, that's incredible. There's been, and we pray for safety today, because in this hour there has been a thread of guests falling downstairs.
Oh, no.
So
in this story, though, it was my wife and not Andrea.
Oh, okay, that's good. That's good, because as we say, the show business, break a leg is just a saying. It's not literal. It's not something that you actually have to do. I don't mean to put you on the spot, Andrea, but we're going to hear some of your music coming up, and we'll talk a little bit about your story and some of the work that you're doing, and especially the Be Delighted project. But may we ask you just for a little bit? I know it's a cappella, and we don't have any kind of accompaniment, to just do a little bit of the Ave Maria that you heard, that Glenn heard on Saturday.
Over the phone?
Yes, there's nothing like hearing great music over the phone.
I'd love to sing. Sadly, Minnesota gave me some crazy allergies. So if you can hear this morning, if I were to cut a jazz album, this would be the morning to do it.
Actually, in this day and age of phones everywhere, a little bit of that performance was caught there. So sorry to surprise you, Andrea, but
that's okay.
Jen picked up a little bit of that from last Saturday there.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, of course.
Wow, and you have a very accomplished career, not only as singing opera, but doing a number of things. You have sung the national anthem, and I bet many of our Relevant Radio listeners have seen you sing the national anthem at professional sports games.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I told some friends and family of mine, I said, I think that St. John Paul II has my back here, because it seems, between the Be Delighted project and finding out that St. John Paul II had visited the stadium that I sang at, kind of feels like he's leading the path here. But that was a fun performance, sang for the St. Louis Rams versus Browns game in October of 2015. So it was a real treat.
In our Faith and Music segment, Andrea, Lynn, Cianflone is our guest this morning, a discovery of Glenn Leverance, although I'm sure many of you have actually heard her perform so many times, not only at professional sports games, but also on NBC and CBS and Lifetime and so many other major venues. Joining us this morning on Morning Air on Relevant Radio, we were mentioning, and you had just mentioned, the Be Delighted program, among the number of things that you do. Tell us about the Be Delighted program and what kind of project that is.
Sure. Well, Be Delighted started out as this little seedling. I really just wanted to inspire other people to engage in the arts and creative things day to day, make it part of their daily experience. And, I think also it was very much a call to Pope John Paul II, or Saint, the new evangelization. At the time that I started the project, I was actually finishing reading the book Love and Responsibility, which really had such an impact on my life. And I wanted to be able to share that in some way. And what a better way to bring truth, beauty, and goodness through, I think, this project. I think that the arts go far beyond just an experience to enjoy, but there are certainly physical and medicinal impacts that art has for people. And in my research of the impact of arts and creativity on health, I'll just give you an example here. I found that the World Health Organization found that major depression was the leading cause of disability worldwide. And so in my head I was thinking, well, what is the cause of all this? I can't believe that, half the world is depressed, but maybe. Is there something that we can do in our daily life to raise our spirits, to bring happiness, to bring joy? And I found that the arts is a real creative outlet for, not just artists, but everyone. So started it by, creating a little Facebook page to go to, and actually held a Be Delighted event in New York City, and we did it for 2 consecutive years, just bringing lots of arts enthusiasts and people who just want to come to community together, and celebrate the arts. And, then the project kind of started walking on its own legs. I was talking with somebody. They were able to get me distribution on a network, and now from that, it actually may step up and go to maybe another network. So, it's just kind of walking on its legs, and I'm keeping it in prayer that it'll just go wherever it needs to be. So.
That's great. It's the Be Delighted program from Andrea Lynn, and we'll put the link to her website up on our Morning Air Facebook page so you can see a part of this. When you talk about arts and culture, I'm just thinking about what our lives would be without arts and culture, because we use it as a way to give glory to God. We also use it as a way to bolster ourselves when we may not be feeling that well, and we use it as a way to just bring joy into other people's lives.
Absolutely. Well, and I think it's like our media is so around us all the time, and we've got, videos posted up of all these different movements that are taking place in society. And I'm finding a trend that some of these movements, I think, might be, some of the movements are positive, some of them may have a little bit of a negative tone and maybe even divisive. And I kind of feel like Be Delighted is a real community gathering, who doesn't love the arts? So I like those positive movements, and certainly we talk about the values that come forth because of arts, like forgiveness and doing charitable acts and things of that nature. I mean, if you read a poem or a song, it doesn't have to just be about romance and, some love ballad or or that kind of thing. There are definitely other outlets and ideas that the arts offer, and that help us become better individuals day to day.
Now, Andrea, talk a little bit about your background in love for music. I know part of the fun on Saturday was getting to meet your mother, who is an accomplished accordionist. And we talked for quite a while about that, one of us being accomplished and the other being me. But talk about your mom's influence.
I'm still convinced you guys should do a duet, but...
I'm all for that, Andrea.
Okay,
absolutely.
we'll make it happen.
That is a capital idea.
So, yes, actually both my parents played the accordion, and I owe so much to my parents for the musical upbringing. I come from an Italian family, and music is just very much a part of our lives. My siblings also play music. My brother is a pianist, and my sister, who is busy protecting our world, she's a cop. But she plays the piano a lot as well, and I just remember growing up having that around as our everyday experience, just engaging in the arts. My mother would put on recitals in nursing homes, which definitely planted the seed to have a great appreciation for the elderly. And we've just had so many fun experiences. She came out with me to do a little tour on the East Coast. She kind of served a little bit as my assistant, which was fun. But we've performed together a lot at different venues, and I think I even have a video out there of my mom and I playing in a kind of little promo video. But she has become one of our Be Delighted artists, I guess you could say.
You're indeed blessed as an artist, Andrea. How do you say thank you to God for these gifts that He's given you?
Wow. I'll tell you, 3 years ago, I was encouraged to go to adoration. So I started going, maybe once a week, and then it became twice a week, and then it became 3 and 4. And I think that is one way that I try to give thanks, go to adoration. Prayer daily, I think, is important, and just meditating and reflecting on what we're doing day to day. Prayer is very important, and meditating on that. Just being thankful, writing letters. I do a lot of writing. That's something that I've started in the last couple of years. And just always trying to serve the best you can to people around you. I think my view was maybe a little different in my 20s. I was traveling to Los Angeles, just had a different kind of scope about what my career should be. And so now, 10 years later, it's just been a whole different kind of vision of what it means to be an artist and what that vocation means, and am I doing that? And for that, I'm very grateful to God for the gifts and that He has given me, and I hope that I can be a good steward of that.
Well, indeed you are, just based on what we have heard in the little excerpts. And let's play a little bit of one of your specialty is opera as well, and which is wonderful, because I don't think enough of us really appreciate the beauty of opera. But we're going to just play a very small segment of, am I pronouncing this correctly? Besame Mucho?
Oh, Besame Mucho, Kiss Me Much, yes, by Consuelo Velasquez. And oddly enough, I heard that she, if I'm correct on this, she had never been kissed when she wrote the song. I think that's so beautiful, because it's one of the most widely performed songs. And I just find it to be a gorgeous song that is, you hear it everywhere, in Latin restaurants and, gosh, who knows, commercials, that kind of thing, so.
Yeah, well, let's hear that right now. This is Andrea, Lynn, Cianflone, and Besame Mucho on Morning Air on Relevant Radio.
Besame mucho. Si fuera esta noche la última vez. Bésame mucho, que tengo miedo perderte y después. Muy cerca, mirarme en tus ojos, ver junto a mí. Piensa que tal vez mañana yo ya estaré lejos, muy lejos de ti. Bésame mucho. Si fuera esta noche la última vez. Bésame mucho, que tengo miedo perderte y después.
Besame Mucho, Andrea, Lynn, Cianflone, and the angelic voice that she has online at Andrea-Lynn.com, Andrea-Lynn.com, to pronounce your first name correctly. And, of course, the project that we were telling you about that is a part of that website, the Be Delighted Project, is in there, and that link on our Morning Air Facebook page. Andrea, thank you so much for your time, and it's great to meet you. And thanks be to God for Glenn Leverance and the smartphone recording your Ave Maria and discovering you. and sharing that voice with our Relevant Radio listeners. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, John and Glenn, for having me. Very much appreciate it. And just pray for my Be Delighted project and all the people to come to that project and make it come to fruition in the way that it should be.
You bet, and we'll be sharing that on our Morning Air Facebook page. Andrea Lynn Cianflone this morning joining us from the Twin Cities, and she sang at the reception for one of the 9 men ordained to the priesthood last Saturday at the Cathedral of St. Paul, the National Shrine of the Apostle Paul in St. Paul, Minnesota. That ordination from Archbishop Bernard Hebda, who gave this wonderful homily at the ordination Mass.